Welcome to Comic Basics. I'm Joel, and today's episode, what's a mask? The top 10 superheroes who don't wear masks. Masks are overrated, aren't they? I mean, not only can they restrict a person's vision, but they also have to cause some serious chafing by the eyes, don't they? And sure, when it comes to being a superhero, it might be advisable to hide your real identity. After all, having all your enemies know exactly who you are might not be the smartest thing a hero could do, but at the expense of not being able to see? I don't know, it just sounds crazy. Although I'm talking from inexperience, I know of at least 10 heroes who would agree with me, and if you're wondering who they are, I'd like to tell you. Depending on which decade we're in, dictates whether or not Emma Frost is one of the supervillains or superheroes who don't wear masks. If it's the 1980s, she's most definitely a villain. If it's the 2000s, she's most definitely a hero. Either way, she doesn't wear a mask. Emma Frost is one of the most powerful telepaths in comics. I won't go as far to say she's stronger than Professor Xavier, because I don't believe anyone is, but I will say she's right up there. In fact, she's so strong in telepathy that she's made my mind-reading superheroes list. Yeah, she's on another list, and you can find it in the right-hand corner. The Wild West was never the same after DC Comics gave the world Jonah Hex. Jonah Hex is instantly recognizable, not because he wears a mask. No, Jonah Hex is instantly recognizable because he doesn't wear a mask. Huh? As a result of using a hidden knife in a live-or-die battle, Jonah's face was horribly disfigured. While this may seem like a terrible thing, it wasn't for Jonah. Instead of wallowing in his own pity, Jonah used his new face to strike fear into any who saw him coming. Whether or not you enjoyed the Captain Marvel movie, one thing is undeniable. Carol Danvers does not wear a mask. Now, for any detractors who say that she's worn one in the past, you're not wrong because she did. However, as it stands right now, she doesn't wear one. At the moment, Carol Danvers is one of the most popular superheroes in existence. She's appeared 3 different times in the MCU, can be found on merchandise all over the world, and for better or worse, has become the focal point of Marvel movies moving forward. Everyone's favorite private investigator, Jessica Jones, is one of a few superheroes who don't wear masks. Thanks to the popularity of the Netflix show of the same name, most know of the horrors that Jessica lived through. But if you don't, Jessica fell under control of Purple Man, and while there was forced to do reprehensible acts. Some of this included murder, violently attacking police officers, and begging for sex. Once she was free of Purple Man, she settled into a more quiet life, if that even exists in comics, as the wife of Luke Cage. This, however, doesn't mean that she didn't occasionally go out and perform superhero acts. Quite the opposite, actually. It just means that more often than not, she hung up her spandex in favor of family time. Different from the other heroes who are true superheroes, John is more of an anti-hero. And that is, he's a con man obsessed with the occult who is able to perform the darkest of magic as a way of keeping the Earth safe. As far as costumes and masks go, unless you consider a suit, tie, and trench coat, he doesn't wear one. John is one of the greatest users of magic in comics. With it, he's able to perform necromancy, pyrokinesis, teleportation, telekinesis, and more. Above these, he's also able to resist mind control, telepathy, and those like it. Like John Constantine, Zatanna is one of the greatest magic users in comics. Like John Constantine, she's often called upon to deal with the paranormal. And like John Constantine, she doesn't wear a mask or a costume. So to say. While not wearing something traditionally associated with superhero costumes and masks, Zatanna is one of the most instantly recognizable heroes in comics. This is so much that if you've ever attended any sort of Comic-Con, you've probably seen someone dressed up as her. Not only is she often found wearing a top hat akin to Slash of Guns N' Roses, but she also wears fishnet stockings, a blazer, and the tiniest of shorts. Unless you consider an eye patch a mask, Nick Fury is definitely one of my superheroes who don't wear masks. Nick Fury is the leader of S.H.I.E.L.D., and as such, controls one of the most lethal and undercover organizations in the world. He's been at the forefront of some of the most well-known stories in the history of Marvel, and isn't afraid to get his hands dirty should their work require it. Due to something called the Infinity Formula, Nick Fury is extremely long-lived. In fact, the formula doesn't only cause longevity, but it practically slows his aging down to the point of non-existent. Aside from her incredible yet always changing power set, one of the most impressive things about Invisible Woman is that she's never worn a mask. And if I was a betting man, which I'm not, I'd be inclined to wager it's because she doesn't need to. She is the quintessential member of one of the most famous families in comics, the backbone of said family, the voice of reason when it's left, and more than that, one of the greatest females ever created in comics. A spot she's held down practically since the beginning of her run. Wonder Woman is everything that a superhero should strive to be. She uses words before violence, cares for those around her, and is a leader. She's smart, strong, extremely powerful, and can do whatever the writers need her to. And best of all, she embodies each of these without having to wear a mask. I mean, everyone and their dog knows Diana is Wonder Woman. And why? Because whether or not her enemies know, very few are foolish enough to challenge her to battle. Superman is the definition of a hero, and he defines being a hero without having to hide behind a mask. Now granted, as Clark Kent, he does wear glasses that, for whatever reason, fool the entirety of the DC universe, but that's his Clark. Superman is possibly the most famous of all the superheroes who don't wear masks, not because he doesn't wear one. No, Superman is the most famous of all the superheroes who don't wear masks, because he's the most famous superhero. And I'm going to wrap it up here. I hope you enjoyed that, and if you did, please hit that subscribe button. Thanks for coming out. I hope you'll come back, and until then, I'll catch you next time.